Hey there and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. Come along with our triumvirate of terror as we descend into darkness, hurtle into horror, and plunge into peril. If you know the words to London Bridge is Falling Down, you're in the right place. I'm Justin, and I slept with a girl named Salwin.
I'm Nico, and come on, man. Dan, you put weed in my candy again.
Oh, man. Well, I'm Dr. Dan, but not that kind of doctor.
And it's not medical weed either. It's like some real good shit. No medical card or anything. He's just giving drugs to kids.
Better than mixtapes.
True. How would you react if in the middle of, and by the way, you have pediatric cancer? Here's my mixtape.
Great.
Well, that aside, this is a special day on the podcast. You already know we weren't going to leave you hanging on Halloween Day. That's right. And you know, Dan, what are we going to review today to celebrate Halloween?
Is it Finding Nemo?
Yeah, you guessed it in one. It is Halloween 3, that is.
Aw, shit.
You're damn right. This was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, not Jones, starring Tom Atkins as Daniel, but not ours though. Stacey Nelkin as Ellie, but not the last of her. Dan O'Harely as Mr. Cochran, Al Berry as Ellie's dad, and Brad Schachter as some kid who gets wrecked. So we open up with the dude being attacked by a strange man in a suit. He manages to fight him off, but then collapses at a local gas station. From here, we're introduced to Daniel, no relation, a doctor who works at the hospital. You see, the guy who was attacked is a bit hysterical and says that they're coming to kill everyone. Well, brother, no one knows what you're talking about. However, later that night, a strange man in a suit breaks in and kills the dude. Daniel pursues him out of the hospital, watches the man climb into a car, and set both himself and the car on fire, causing the car to explode. A normal day here at DOTDHQ. Nico, what happens next?
So, the next day, Daniel meets Ellie, the daughter of the man who was killed. She's looking into the death of her father, and Daniel ditches his kids to go help her out. Ellie's dad sold Halloween toys and masks, and the last place he went was a mask factory in a nearby town. With no leads, Daniel and Ellie head over. Once they arrive, they see that it's a company town. So the mask company basically owns everything. They pose as a couple and they check into the local motel to hide and do some recon.
Well, Dan, is recon all they do?
Absolutely. So that night, Daniel, not me, sleeps with Ellie, and then confirms that she is of legal age. You know, if it was me, I might have done that in the reverse order, but that's okay. While that is going on, a woman that is also staying there a few rooms down starts messing with a microchip that she found in a brand label kind of thing that fell off of one of the masks. That's bad news because it spontaneously generates a fucking laser, insta-killing her and causing insects to crawl out of her mouth because, yes, that does happen. She is quickly taken to the factory, which Daniel, not me, and Ellie find a bit suspicious, but they vow to get answers in the morning. They also meet Mr. Cochran, who is the factory owner.
And he ain't Cochran around.
He's certainly not, but things do get harder. The next day, Daniel, not ours, and Ellie meet Mr. Cochran at the factory. They go on a tour and find Ellie's dad's car. They are attacked by more men in suits, and they escape.
Mormons?
Close.
Mormon suits. Just the suits. Not the Mormons, just the suits.
Yo, I would watch that movie, actually.
Just Mormon suits.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ellie ends up getting kidnapped. Daniel heads back to the factory and fights one of the men in suits and finds out that he is a robot, aka a robot. He gets captured by Mr. Cochran, who breaks down his whole dastardly plot. But for that, we need someone well-versed in English. So Nico, hit me with this.
This all sounds so goddamn silly listening back to it. Oh, buddy. So, first off, Cochrane has a whole ass army of these robots. Secondly, the microchips are on all of the masks that Cochrane's factory, Silver Shamrock, sells. And apparently, he sold a metric shit ton to kids all over the country. And they are primed to kill the kids when a commercial plays on TV on Halloween night. After the kids die, their bodies will sprout snakes and insects that will kill people around them. How is this possible? Well, and you're not going to believe me when I say this. The labels have bits of Stonehenge. Yes, that one. That's Stonehenge inside of them. And that's what makes this magic work, baby! Also, apparently Cochrane is doing this to carry on / bring back the tradition of Samhain, spelled Samhain for those not in the know. And these ancient rituals also, according to him, involved sacrificing kids. Yup.
Well, that sounds like a load of baloney to me. And if you want to know the real history of Samhain, you should check out our bonus episode we did. It's very academic.
It's a banger. I hope. I can't remember it.
But Dan, you got to avenge yourself and wrap this up here. So how's it end?
Well, Daniel, not me, manages to activate the commercial while throwing a bunch of the microchips that include bits of Stonehenge, killing all of the scientists.
So fucking stupid.
Also, the bits of Stonehenge that he stole attacks Cochrane, because that also makes sense. Daniel finds Ellie and escapes. But oh no, she's been replaced by a robot. Daniel, not me, fights her off and makes it to a gas station where he calls the TV station and tries to get the commercial taken off the air. He manages to get the commercial taken out of 2 of 3 stations, but he cannot stop it from showing on the 3rd. The movie ends with Daniel, not me, though I probably would too, begging the TV station to take off the commercial, even though it is already too late. The end.
All right. Well, we got to get down to business here. Dan, since you're the hero of this story, no
Yes.
relation, how's this movie look?
This movie looks... It looks. I don't...
Oh, dang.
It's not bad, but it's not great either. The special effects, makeup and stuff was okay, but I don't think it was quite as awesome and fun as some of the other, I hate to kind of relate it to others, but some of the big 3 slashers. Like, I don't think it's quite as good as some of the others. And the laser bit was pretty fucking funny, and that took me out.
Bro. That was, like, I think also the first instance of CGI like that in the movie at that point. It's not like people are getting fucking Kamehameha waved out of left field in every scene. It's like a pretty normal crime thriller up to this point. And then fucking suddenly, it's like you're doing a super in Marvel vs. Capcom as Magneto.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fucking accurate. I was like, okay, she takes out her hairpiece and she's messing around. What are you even doing? Like, what are you attempting to do? Oh, I guess that's what was going to happen. And we just couldn't get from point A to point B. Nope. So we just went straight there. All right. Makes sense. Nico, laser beams aside, how's this movie look?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the cinematography doesn't have any glaring, air quotes, mistakes in it. I don't think there were any bad shots or anything. The costume and makeup all looks, passable. It's, imagine the quintessential movie from this decade, and yeah, this looks like that.
That's a good way of putting it. I don't think it really stands out. I don't think it's really horrible. I think it's just kind of honestly average.
Yeah. But not like in a bad way, to be clear. Like, I never was thinking like, man, this looks like shit or bad. It's just that there wasn't any there wasn't necessarily any major highlights. It just kind of worked, I guess.
Agreed. Now, when it comes to sound, I'll say this. This soundtrack, John Carpenter was there, bro, on his synth. I could hear him playing it. I damn near could see him playing it. I like the soundtrack. It does what it's meant to do. It reinforces the feelings that it's supposed to. And I've always and will forever think that type of, synth and that type of sound always accompanies horror super well. So I like the sound personally. Dan, what'd you think of the sound?
Yeah, I think the soundtrack bumps, like you said. Also, I want to shout out Alan Haworth, who is also a co-writer, composer, alongside Mr. John Carpenter. I will say the commercial, the Silver Shamrock or whatever commercial, was fucking annoying as shit.
I'm going to have it stuck in my head for a week.
Yeah, and I know that was like partially the point, but it was annoying as shit. And after like the third time hearing it, which you hear like, I don't know,
5 more days till
20
Halloween,
or 30 times.
Halloween.
I was tired of it already.
Shamrock.
But aside from that, it was all right. It was good.
Bro, you know what killed me about that? So Bonner stepped in because this got so wacky that he had to see. And every fucking time the commercial came on, he started singing London Bridge is Falling Down, because this is to the tune of London Bridge is Falling Down.
Yeah.
And I was about to kill him. Nico,
Yeah.
what is the sound to you?
It again just all kind of works for me. I do want to echo the positive comments and praise towards the soundtrack. Whenever John Carpenter is involved, you can definitely tell. And this is, if not one of his like more notable soundtracks, it is again just kind of quintessential John Carpenter, which is already, I think, a cut above most other folks when it comes to sound design. So I would say it's pretty good.
So I'm going to turn to Dan for this one. And there's an elephant in the room, Dan, I think we've got to address. We've been friends for a number of years now, but there's no Michael Myers in this movie.
There is not any Michael Myers. And I knew that going into this film. And I was trying to kind of put myself in the context of when this film came out. Like if I saw it in 82, would I have wanted or expected Michael Myers? Because this is the third movie. I think now from 2024, looking back, Halloween is Michael Myers. But back then, was it?
Myers.
I don't know. So I think, obviously the first two films were Michael Myers, but that doesn't necessarily mean the whole series or a third has to be. I did miss Michael Myers, though, or at least a Michael Myers type character.
Yeah.
This isn't really a slasher. It doesn't have that kind of imposing character coming back to kill you, rising up like the Undertaker. I did miss that.
I agree. I honestly think that we are so attuned to Michael Myers being synonymous with Halloween, the franchise.
He's iconic for a reason.
Yeah, it's super difficult to imagine a Halloween movie without him, and this is the only one without him. So I did miss him. Nico, did you miss the guy?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm totally fine with there being films in a series that are more off the beaten path than the sort of what you would normally expect there to be. Like, again, just a few reviews ago, I loved Prometheus, which is a very different sort of movie compared to others in the franchise. And this is also very, very different compared to the others in the franchise, but this is the part where the comparisons between Prometheus and this end, don't worry. Yeah, it's hard for me to take the tension seriously when I guess I do have sort of a complaint about the cinematography, if not just the overall premise. Like, it's not very menacing going back and forth between shots of a bunch of lab geeks and this old fucking codger staring at these crusty ass computer monitors, and then, oh, look at all the masks. Like, it's just not really all that threatening.
I would agree with that. And I'm going to throw a curveball your direction, so get ready for this.
Okay.
But before the curveball, I'll ask you this. Do you think there's any particular reason why this is part of the Halloween franchise or series?
So I have heard that Carpenter originally wanted the series to be a anthology based thing, and then the first one did so well that they, got the second. And, after this, people obviously wanted Michael Myers back, so that's what we fucking got. But now that I know that, I'm not terribly surprised, but I think that it's... Dude, I don't know. This is just so utterly wacky in ways that I'm sure the rest of them aren't. And this is somewhat of a called shot, I will admit here. I've only seen... And I think we've only seen the ones up to this point. Correct me if I'm wrong, if other of you have seen ones beyond this.
I haven't.
I've seen Halloween H2O.
Yeah, so, again, sort of a called shot here, but I don't think we're getting any more fucking, laser beam Godzilla nuclear breath out of nowhere in any of the others here. Just gonna lay that down right there.
And Dan, Nico is right, and that was the curveball I was going to throw. The original idea was that this could maybe be a lead into almost an anthology kind of feel. Nowadays we've got movies like Trick or Treat where they have, multiple short stories within one movie. That wasn't as common back then in 1982. So they were maybe thinking they could have, Halloween as a series with these stories taking place on Halloween and not necessarily all of them revolving around Michael Myers. How is that as an idea to you?
I think that's cool. I am not opposed to that idea at all. I do think that the sequel, Halloween 2, kind of made that more difficult because you have Michael Myers and then Michael Myers again, and it sets you up as a third one for Michael Myers or, again, something similar anyways. And I think it would have been more successful to have this movie to still be different, but have similar themes and not be quite as different. I mean, like Nico said, you have laser beams, you have robots, you have bugs coming
fucking
out of nowhere.
Stonehenge!
It doesn't make any sense. And if it wasn't quite so out of left field, I feel like the anthology part of it would have made a little bit more sense.
Yeah, and that is essentially my viewpoint as well. What the fuck? This is just so removed from the first Halloween and the second as well, which are not by the book slashers, but they help to establish the genre of slasher.
Yeah.
And they're very, very grounded. Michael Myers aside, of course. And then this just takes it and throws it out the window. And honestly, I get calling it Halloween, but, and this is me being a little bit harsh, if this wasn't given the Halloween title, I don't think many people would have watched this.
Yeah.
And
probably not.
What would you even call this? What would your alternate title be?
Mask of Halloween or some shit. I don't know, bro.
That's a good show.
And this one I have no fucking clue about, but why is it called Season of the Witch?
I've been thinking about that this entire time, and I was so optimistic that I would have an answer for you, but I truly have no goddamn idea.
The only thing that I can think is because they were linking Stonehenge and Samhain to pagans and that kind of thing. So maybe pagan, witchcraft. They haven't seen, I don't know, Scooby-Doo versus the Witch's Ghost, so they assume it's the same thing.
Yo,
I mean,
shout outs to that one. Not sure what happened there. Felt like a little bit of spit was caught there and just went down an octave, got a filter on that bitch.
Damn, you also sounded sad as shit too.
Yeah, genuinely not quite sure what to make of that one. The human body is a wonderful device, and mine was found in a dumpster alley.
all right. Dan, do you agree? You concur?
Yeah, I think as far as I got was your train of thought there. Just Samhain, pagan witchcraft. I don't know. They were insects and snakes coming out of people, I thought they were going to try to tie that to witchcraftery.
And those were a thing back then too.
They were. They were.
All right. And I got to talk with you about this plan here. We're just going to review it one more time for those of you who don't know. So you get this factory guy. He steals a literal slab of Stonehenge and somehow gets it like shipped across the Atlantic. And he's over there like, oh, you want to know how we stole Stonehenge? It was a wild story. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then you have scientists like scraping off bits, like literal like dust level particles to put onto microchips that they put onto the back of masks that they then sell to children, which all the kids, they just banked on all the kids being into this mask. And their mask was apparently just like mad fucking popular. And then they're going to convince the kids to watch a commercial on Halloween night.
When they're probably out trick-or-treating.
Either that or it's a Sunday night. Maybe I don't know. I'm not going to judge these people's lives. And
I will.
On top of that, during the commercial, it triggers some kind of sequence in the mask that then, and they also are banking, by the way, that the kids are wearing these masks while watching the commercial.
Yeah.
Like that's how into this the kids are supposed to be. And then the mask will then explode, causing the kids to spew insects and snakes, which then attack everyone around them viciously. And this is all to remind people of the true meaning of Christmas. I mean, Samhain. So, do y'all see any holes in this plan? It seems pretty airtight to me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, only the eye holes from the mask are the only holes that I see.
Whoever's editing this, I need you to insert the one clip from Black of Dynamite when they're in the diner.
Oh, my fucking God. Well, as a real ass question, let me ask you this. How do you feel about the character of Daniel?
It's not as good as ours.
True, but is he likable at all? Is he a good character? Like, what's his deal?
He's a fucking player. That's what he is.
Yeah,
What,
and I
3
didn't
or 4 women?
take him
I don't
for
know.
one at
No.
all. He just looks like a random fucking guy you'd see on the bus. And he is, like, I guess his middle name must be Pussy Destroyer or something. Him and Ellie had a pretty, like, I would say kind of terse first meeting. And it goes from, that to, well, where would you like me to stay, Daniel? I think that's a dumb question, Ellie. Come here, you beautiful bitch.
Yo, that is literally it, though.
Yep.
That's literally it. That's literally it. Like, they go to a hotel room. He's like, you want me to get 2 rooms? Oh, no, that would look suspicious.
I can sleep on the floor if you'd like.
Like, I'm not voice acting this part with you, but I'm saying that.
That's fair.
But just like, literally, it is porn level dialogue.
Yeah.
When she's like, where do you want to sleep? That's a stupid question. What? What? Was the mustache that powerful? Do I need one? Is that how this
Bro.
works?
I could see you rocking a handlebar. Complete honesty. I could see you
You should
rocking
do
a
it.
handlebar.
Go for it.
More on that later. And then on top of this,
Hell yeah, brother.
he's macking on like a nurse in the hospital. He's like, I should have
Yeah.
married you.
It doesn't stop.
He goes to the coroner's fucking office, macking on the assistant coroner.
He was born without a pause button.
And she's like, you're going to owe me a lot of dinners. I'm always up for dinner
His
with
2
you.
moods are fuck and sleep.
He's like telling this girl, I'm always up for dinner with you, while he's in the
If we're
same
mean
room
pussy.
with the girl that he just fucked.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, yo, my guy, I can't say anything, bro. Listen, man, all I can say is he ain't a player. He just fuck a lot, bro. And if you know, you know. So
If you imagine like really cheesy porn wah guitar going the entire time, it fits. Just trust me.
yeah. And when this movie came out, it was referred to as being anti-Irish.
Wait,
Now-
what?
Slow your roll there,
What?
Nico.
Wait.
Stop. We're going to turn to Dan first. Dan, I mean, the Irish have clearly had it out for us for some time now.
Clearly.
And
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
did you find this movie to be anti-Irish? Did you get that from it?
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, it's really just a big fuck you to Ireland.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, the bad guys are Irish, so I guess there's that. That's about it.
Nico, have you any cultural context to lend us?
I mean, you got me over here Googling where is Stonehenge like a dumbass.
It's not in Ireland.
No, it's
That's
not.
the best part.
That's why I was like, wait, hold on.
Stonehenge has nothing to do with them.
I feel like I would have been taught about this as a kid or something. But no, man, truly, where in the hell is that coming from?
Why would they do it, Nico? Why would the Irish steal
The
Stonehenge?
Irish stole Stonehenge.
Yo, that would be the next like National Treasure movie. Like, can you imagine Nick Cage stealing Stonehenge?
Bro.
All right, man. This is quite silly.
It's just one very long wide shot of him hauling the pieces and straining.
With Owen Wilson just watching, going, "Wow,
Yep,
wow."
exactly that. Produced by A24.
Yes, of course. Well, we got to take it to the what would you do, and I ain't gonna lie, this one caused me quite a bit of struggle.
Her age first. That's what I would do.
Of
Yeah.
course, that is the DOTD mantra. But I gotta know, once you found out there was a giant army of robots, what's your go-to?
Home.
Home?
Go to a home.
Yeah. Like,
Not my problem. Call the police. Call, I don't know, the fucking Marines. He even mentioned that at one point. Like, this is a job for the Marines or some shit. Like, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
so while I agree with you, they also seemed, for the most part, impervious to harm. But if you just wallop them in the gut, it turns into mango juice real quick. So I feel like if you just like get a couple shots of Red Bull into you or whatever the fuck equivalent was in the 80s and just like go to town just punching some motherfuckers, I feel like you'd be all right.
I just want to know, they didn't have that type of robot tech back then because these motherfuckers were on gears, but somehow could make like autonomous
Metal
decisions.
Gear.
It's better than Metal Gear. You have soldiers that could literally go out, do a task, and then kill themselves to get rid of any evidence.
Shadow Moses.
Zanzibar. So
I also feel like they watched the directors and whoever watched Alien beforehand, and they're like, oh, yeah, these artificial people or whatever they prefer to be called. We should do that in Halloween.
that's a reference there, Dan. That is a reference there. Good on you. So I think we have it there. It's a bit of a weak what would you do, but I mean, this movie was a bit loopy. So
Bit.
let's go ahead now and take it to the critic review.
Bro, I truly have no goddamn idea. I feel like it's got to be low, but I also know that sometimes you can get some quirky horror movies to get a cult following and then like appreciate over the years.
Well, nothing to it but to slice into it. Dan, where do you think this is on Rotten Tomatoes?
It can't be good. I'm going to say a 35.
Nico?
I am going to once again look at the time code. Let's say 30. You said 35? Okay, let's do 40.
Nico retakes his crown this week. The movie has a
Feel bad for
50% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Audience did not like it at a 29% from listeners. Damn. Now, I want to know what you think. Where should this go?
This movie is just goofy, and not even like the good kind of goofy, you know? Like, I feel like if it was more fun and leaned into the goofiness more, it would have been a fun, bad movie, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not really that. It's just, it doesn't make sense. It's weird. I don't really see much particular like charm to it or anything. The as we kind of discussed, like the visuals aren't like stand out. It's not even like, oh, this was a really dumb movie, but man, did it look good or whatever. There's no particular draw to it, I don't think. That being said, I didn't like hate watching it or anything. Like it wasn't terrible, but it's not a good movie, but it was not entertaining, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 43.
When I was a kid, like y'all know how I'm pretty good at like writing stories and stuff and coming up with things on the fly.
Sure.
Part of that, shout out to my mom, is because every day I would have a writing prompt and I have to write a story. And she would oftentimes, if my story wasn't good enough, she would like rip it up and tell me to start again. Or, you know, she'd like write down like horrible. And
that explains a lot.
Has your mom seen Whiplash?
it was truly not quite her tempo, but I bet you she'd find nothing wrong with that. Either way, I feel like this director needed someone, and not even the director, whoever wrote this plot and the screenwriter, because the screenwriter had to commit that to, hey, this is what you're going to do. And somewhere, someone along the process was like, hey guys, wait a second. Is this really that you stole Stonehenge to put it into masks, to kill kids, to spawn snakes and insects?
Via
like
lasers.
This, yeah. Like, this is what we're doing right now. Like, I've got John Carpenter in the back working on synth. He hasn't even read this yet. Okay, we've got the fucking Halloween name behind us. Is this the best we could do?
We don't have any other ideas.
Like, we can't even go with, like...
Hard commit to Stonehenge.
Well, I mean, Nico, there's no way that Michael Myers can come back to life, so gotta do something different.
That's never gonna happen, nope.
When I saw this title, I thought it was gonna be maybe, like, a cult was gonna be bringing back Michael Myers or something. I don't know. This was bad. And not so bad it's good, just bad. And I can't even blame the actors. I can't blame the visuals. I can't blame the sound. I just blame the writers.
Yeah.
Like, how could you?
The actors did their best, I will say that.
Actually, it was not bad acting, so yeah.
I'm just like, who? What? The drugs? So yeah, this is about a 47 for me. This ain't good.
Yeah. In case you couldn't tell, I just completely lost my marbles in thinking about how just utterly goofy this movie is. I was kind of joking around with the lads before we got onto the recording saying, you know, I think this is probably the silliest movie we reviewed this year, and now I'm fucking certain of it. I didn't have a bad time with this. I don't regret watching this, but, like, I also don't think I can recommend this. I'm going to give it a 48.
Yeah, and Nico, you've kind of put the horse in front of the carriage in reverse for real. But
wow.
You
Well
said
done.
that you didn't recommend this or you couldn't recommend this.
Yeah.
I also could not recommend this because realistically speaking, imagine if someone's like, hey, let me, check DOTD podcast. There's some upstanding guys and we recommend this. And they sit down on Halloween night. Like, bro, they're going to show up at my house with a fucking knife because...
Which might shoot a fucking laser out of it.
Yeah, like, I don't know what's going to happen, bro. So, no, like, I can't recommend this. There are so many better movies to watch on Halloween, during October, on a regular night. Just don't watch this one. This ain't the one. Dan?
Yeah, out of fear of my safety. Yes, I agree. Will not recommend.
Well, there you have it.
I've never quite thought about our reputation as a podcast before now. And that really cemented something in there for me.
Indeed.
these guys have really nuanced opinions. I wonder what they're going to say we should watch next. Man, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. So if you've got something to say about this movie,
Oh, man.
hit us up. We are on X and Instagram at DOTD Horror. We're also on Facebook. That's Don't Open That Door.
Hey, maybe you'll find me at Stonehenge. You don't know.
Yeah. Plus, check everything we've done on our website, which is, of course, dotdhorror.com.
I don't even believe in Stonehenge.
Nope. But till next time, tell all your friends about Stonehenge and to keep it safe. Look out for one another. But as always, dear listener, don't open that door. Bye.